From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Weekend. Well, Spaced Out Radio as we head into the weekend. How excited are you about having a couple of days off? I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Shop at the SOR Vault. Join the SOR Space Travelers Club for $5 a month. Tonight's show is brought to you by CHIVE Charities, helping make the world 10% happier. You can do that by donating to CHIVE Charities today. You can find them on our website. Tonight we are wrestling with the paranormal, suplexing the spirits right out of their hauntings with John and Stacey Edwards. This husband and wife team have steel-chaired many a ghost in their day since jumping into the paranormal from the top turnbuckles in 1997. It has always been a cage match trying to figure out what exactly is going on the other side, and John and Stacey are up for the challenge. After running several organized paranormal teams, they started the Haunted South Paranormal Podcast in 2010, along with a few full-length documentaries, an app, and many lectures and appearances. 2010 was a year of transition, with John and Stacey hitting several cons and public appearances in support of their local TV show and documentaries, which was well received. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. John and Stacey Edwards, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Really appreciate that.
Hey, it's great to be here. We were after that intro, you got me all fired up now, so I'm gonna have to drop some elbows.
Start grabbing chairs.
I hope so. My good friend is going to be going to Mexico soon. I said, don't even think of coming back without a Lucha Libre mask for me, because nobody will know who I am. Nobody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. You got to get an authentic Lucha Libre mask and go down to Arena, Mexico. Tell him that's where he needs to go.
Well, I could tell you this. If he brings me back a mask, I don't know if I would ever take it off again. I really don't.
That's a brand new gimmick for radio right there, because you could be the mask assailant of the world of paranormal radio.
Absolutely, we could. You know, people may say, hey, that guy with the mask, he sounds familiar, but we don't know who he is. He's got great hair coming out of the back, but we still don't know who he is. Oh, yeah.
Some luxurious hair, man.
Thank you. I've worked
I think it's going to give you away, though. That's the problem, because you're going to lose the Loser Leave Town radio show match, and you're going to have to come back, for 90 days. Man, that hair is going to give you away. I'm just letting you know.
I got a wrestling question for you, because you're actually quite the wrestling historian, and I cannot figure out. Remember when Andre the Giant said he lost that retirement match back in like 84, 85, and then he came back as a part of a Japanese tag team, and they wore the masks?
Yes.
What was that tag team called?
Machines. He was Giant Machine. They joined in on Super Machine, and from time to time they would have special guest stars like Hogan, who was Hulk Machine, and then you would have Popper Machine, and but they were the Machines.
Oh yeah, I miss those days, man. I miss those days. Now, for people who don't know, you're actually a pro wrestler as well. You are on the independent circuit. You got your own finishing move, which is just phenomenal because it includes fire. I got to ask you, in regards to this, because believe it or not, for some reason, since I met you guys when the last time you were on the show, John, you guys have really, I think, kicked something off, because there's now a lot of current and former wrestlers getting into the paranormal. What's the tie-in, man?
I don't know. I think there's a lot with making appearances, and really having to beat the street, so to speak. You got to go out there. If you're going to get anywhere, you have to stay at it. And just like in the wrestling business, you're going to notice the personalities, right? So I also think that really plays into what kind of evidence you get. And I think that a big personality is a brighter light to the other side. And, so when you're, metaphysically speaking, when you're a loudmouth, I'm not a loudmouth, but I know some. I believe that spirits are drawn to you. I believe that they either see you better, they want to shut you up, something. But, I think that's one thing. These guys seem to have a lot of experiences, or they have they're more apt to have experiences or vocalize the fact they have. And there's a lot of wrestling road stories. There is, from being on the road all the time, you're going to see UFOs.
Well, and from being in all those small, old things that you wrestle in, a lot of those places are haunted, and that the wrestlers always have stories to give you about what happened in this locker room or that locker room.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time in cars, Dave, and we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours sometimes in a car together with 4 really large men, sometimes 5 and a midget in the trunk. True story. And
perfect.
When you're on these long road trips, you have to something. So it's usually you stay away from politics and religion, right? So it goes to paranormal.
I just think that's phenomenal, because all of a sudden I know there's been a couple of other teams that are popping out east. There's a gentleman who's now leading MUFON. His wrestling name was Donnie Brook. There's a lot of people who are interested. Former WWE and ECW wrestler Raven is getting really into the paranormal now. Chris Jericho has talked about it quite a bit. Is it just something because, like Stacey said, and Stacey, I'll ask you, because you're always on the road, you're always from town to town, probably some wrestlers 200-300 days a year, that when you're playing a different character, you're not really being yourself, that you're morphing into something else, that it opens up that sensitivity because there is that vagabond lifestyle?
Yeah, I would think so. It's like John. Most professional wrestlers are already very, out there. They're big personalities. They're very open to lots of other things going on. Like, they're not in their own little box. Everything is on the table. Anything can happen. And, and they're going to all these different locations and different venues that have all this history, and they're talking to each other. They're swapping stories. There's no telling what can happen paranormal wise. And of course, piques your interest when you're seeing all of this historical stuff. Even though you're there to wrestle, you're still seeing these towns, and you're seeing these places, and you're seeing these historical, places that have activity. And then you're in the car. What are you going to talk about? You're just going to swap those stories about this weird thing that you saw or this weird thing that happened to you.
And not to interrupt or anything with her, but just to add on to that, a lot of times in the wrestling business, it's a lot of based on respect and trust, because, the been out of the bag for years, right? So you have to trust your opponent, and a lot of that trust and respect for the guys who came before us. A lot of times, any locker room you're going to be in, there's going to be like a Rock and Roll Express Ricky Morton. There's going to be Beautiful Bobby. There's going to be somebody who's been in the business for 40 years or more, and they've got stories galore. So they're going to tell you about that 100-year-old building you're wrestling in, and the literal and figurative ghost of that building. So, like I said, the stories are usually where it starts. And then you just, as Stacey said, you see so much. And when you get out in the world becomes a much smaller place. You just listen to people's stories everywhere. It's very much the recipe.
So how did you guys get into the paranormal, for the people out there who may not be familiar with you, Stacey?
Well, John and I, back in 2007, we were just dating, and we had this shared experience in my house one night where we saw this completely solid shadow figure run through the house. Only we were in separate rooms. John was in the kitchen and I was in the living room, but we both saw the same thing and were able to compare that story and notice that we had both seen exactly the same thing. It was the craziest thing we'd ever seen. John was cooking hamburgers. It came in the back door, and it just looked like a tall man in like a running position. And it ran through the kitchen, and then it came through the door into the living room where I was, and I couldn't see John in the kitchen. And it ran past me, between me and the television, completely blocked out the television. And then it went out the window beside me. And this window, like, we were young, we were young and poor. We didn't have air conditioning, so I always had the windows open. But I had blinds on the windows because I lived in a neighborhood where people like to look in the windows, if you had them open. So I had this blind on there, and I had it pulled down. It was really cheap, and it had broken, and it would never go back up. It was one of those ones you'd have to like roll it with your hands to get it to go up all the way if you wanted it up. So it was down, but that thing hit that window, and that shade shot up just as fast as you could. I mean, it was like flipping, and John could hear it from the other room, and all I could do was just yell for it. I was just like, John, and he just said, I don't want to talk about it. And, we didn't really talk about it for a couple of days, but then we sat down and we're like, all right, what did you see? And I told him what I saw. He told me what he saw. It was exactly the same thing. And there was just no going back from there. I mean, once you see something that significant, you just can't ignore it.
John, what was your reaction when this was going on?
Wow.
Oh, we lost him on Skype there for a quick second. Let's see what we can find out here. 1 second. I don't know why their Skype disappeared. Let me see where they went. Because we kind of lost them. We'll hang up on them and we'll try it again. How about that? Wonder what's going on. Wonder what is going on. We'll bring them back here in a second here. I like a good story like that where it just kind of pops in you anywhere you went. Do we got you now? Because everything seemed to cut off there for a quick second on your end.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just was.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
It's the ghost again. It's the ghost. It's not anything technical because we're talking paranormal. So I prefer the tinfoil answers, whether it's truthful or not. Let's just run with the woo. Let's run with the woo.
That's it, man. It's wow. So I was just personally talking about the the experience for me, and that's really weird that it turned off like that.
Yes,
because I was talking about the UFO, and that's very strange because that's not normally where I go and I don't normally go there, but I was trying to keep that stuff buried in my life, that part of my life buried. And, when this happened, it was I wouldn't say paradigm shifting because I knew that part already, but we didn't talk about such things, so it's just crazy.
What's funny is earlier tonight, this evening, I was talking to a good buddy of mine, Johnny Enoch. And we were bringing up a friend of ours, and I'm going to keep the guy's name silent for right now, who's pretty connected in the field and in remote viewing and so on and so forth. And he can, on the deeper side, he's kind of, watched, shall we say. Anyways, Johnny brought up his name 3 times during our phone call. He was in I know where he was. He was in a perfect area where there's never any, dropped phone calls or anything like that. And our phone call was going absolutely perfect. We were talking about radio. We're talking about spaced out radio and television work that Johnny is doing now. And he brings up this person's name and the phone immediately dies. And hung up. And then so Johnny calls me back and he's like, I can't believe I just mentioned this person's name. And he continues, sentence ends because his phone hung up again. Did it a 3rd time. So finally he said, yeah, I'm not mentioning that name anymore right now because I don't want the phone to get hung up on again. And we talked for about another 5-6 minutes without any issues with the phone call whatsoever. It was awesome. I love it. Now, probably there's a logical explanation for that, but I love the woo too much. So I'm going to go with what it probably wasn't, which is government officials listening into the conversation, not wanting us to talk about this gentleman and cut us off. It just sounds like a better story.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that may sound like the less likely story, it also has quite a bit of reality to it. And the very fact that I used to do our show live, and I quit doing it live because of, we were doing it in an actual television station. They built us a podcast room just to do this podcast out of the TV station area, and it was the local public channel that in order to pay for my podcasting, basically I would go help film courtroom stuff and things like that, which was fun. But when we did the podcast, we would have on the other side of the glass our producer, and whenever we did a conspiracy show, I would like to talk about things like FEMA camps, and I would talk about some really hot button topics on the conspiracy world, which I don't really do anymore. But when I mentioned the words FEMA camp one time, and I had someone on the line who actually was a big time protester, and you could see him outside the Today Show holding signs and stuff. And the feed went completely dead. But we were hardlined in. It had never done that before. It was studio equipment. And, so that kind of stuff happened quite a bit, to be honest with you. And the story that my story dates back to the 70s, and as being a kid, and these memories I had of being lifted in the air, and a lot of things like that were always just, was it a dream, was it not? And I would talk about it to my family, and I didn't get told the truth until, like I was saying when it got cut off, until I had my show, and that's when my mom told me exactly what happened, and to her memory, and she just chose to never talk about that. So it had always been, the weird and strange had always been part of my life. So that's how I handled it, was a not again kind of thing.
Stacey, you're married to a weirdo.
Yes, I am. Thankfully.
He's got to keep life interesting for you. With the wrestling, the paranormal experiences that you guys have. I don't know if I'd go near this guy with a 10-foot pole. With all the strange things that are happening around him.
You have no idea, Dave. You have no idea. It's always something different.
Well, he's got a nice goatee. So we'll give him a little break on that. But when it comes to ghosts and the paranormal in general, Stacey, what's your overall thoughts on the field today?
My thoughts on the field today? I like that it's become so easy to find what you need to find. When we started in 1997, it wasn't as out there. You didn't go to Books A Million and see a lot of books on ghosts and spirits and psychic things. It was just this little tiny section where people looked at you strange if you were over there. So I like the fact that there are a lot of TV shows and they all have something different about them. There's a lot of people that are open to talking about their experiences. It's not as taboo as it used to be. But everything has a good and bad side. There are people out there that I think probably take advantage of the fact that, it's so easy to be in the paranormal field now. But for the most part, I think that it's on a good trend. I think that, as it on, the more that people talk about it and the more TV shows that are on, the more that people share their experiences, the better it's going to be.
Well, I think it's one of those things where we've seen a lot of upheaval in the paranormal because there is no rule books. There is no, guidelines, and everybody is pretty much on a free-for-all. It's like a battle royal out there. People who are saying you can't investigate in this spot. That's my area to investigate. We see that all the time. How do you guys stay away from that paradrama that's out there and just do your own thing and have success with it, Stacey?
We try not to get into the drama part. Everybody has their own way. Everybody has their own style. We sort of, years ago stepped away from having a paranormal team. And that's why we just investigate just the two of us. Find that it's a lot easier because, we know each other, we trust each other. We understand what we're going to do when we go in a location. We do have people that we like to investigate with that we also trust, but we don't keep like a specific team of people. And, really you just have to be accepting of other people's views. Everybody has their own style. Certain things work for some people that don't work for other people. And it's okay to have differing opinions. That's how you learn. That's how you understand what's going on. That's how you grow and open your own mind. So we personally just try to stay out of it. We're happy to listen to anybody's point of view on anything and take that into consideration, because you never know, somebody else might have a viewpoint that's better than what we have. But for the most part, we try to stick to investigating just the two of us, and we try to develop our own thoughts, but we don't push those on other people either.
Has it brought you guys closer together, John? That is, you and Stacey, who are doing this on your own merit, on your own time, on your own dime, and you're staying away from all of that paranormal crises that seem to be invading almost everywhere?
To be honest with you, it's I don't know if we would be where we're at right now without the paranormal in our lives. And if anything, it's only brought us closer. And the road trips and everything. We actually had a wonderful letter today on Facebook, or a comment of somebody saying that John and Stacey is their relationship goals. And, that's probably the highest compliment you can pay to me, just because I usually scream it. It's going to sound really cheesy, but I scream it from the rooftops, how much I love Stacey, and we have a great time. We're always having fun with each other. We can kid each other. I don't remember it sounds cliche, but I don't remember the last time we had a fight. And it's really just respecting each other's opinion, and we're completely oil and water. I mean, we are completely different. She is skeptically minded. I am ready to accept Beelzebub at any time. It's one of those things where we work well off each other.
That's a compliment to both of you, though, for putting in the effort and being that strong team, especially when you're dealing with something so unknown like the paranormal. I mean, that has to at least push the boundaries of how you guys investigate. We'll find out a little bit more as we head off to break here. John and Stacey Edwards are our guests tonight on Spaced Out Radio. They're from the Paranormal Sideshow. They also got a great book out. You can find it at spacedoutradio.com. Go to We Read the Night, John and Stacey Edwards. Their book, Till Death and Beyond, is right there. I suggest you go pick it up. It's a cool cover, too. Very cool cover. Good people on tonight. They're friends of David Weatherly's as well, so they can't be that bad. And John has a nice goatee as well. More Spaced Out Radios after this.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, CHIVE Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know little brother is watching.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacey, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a Space Traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. It's a little toasty in here tonight. We have to open the window. By the way, if you're keeping count on my wasp killing spree, I got another 8 today. I'm feeling very tough, very proud. Killing them naturally with water and soap. Liquid soap and water works beautifully on them. Absolutely beautifully. I'm doing well. I've only taken the one sting that was in the shoulder, but I survived. I put a big tensor bandage on it, put some ice on it. I was ready to go. It's amazing what you can do when you got the power of a headband holding back your hair. I want to remind all of you that you can always check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we got a plethora of features for you. Don't forget, you can rock out to Bumblefoot, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, pick up a book like John and Stacey Edwards at We Read the Night, and join the SOR Space Travelers Club for $5 a month. John and Stacey Edwards are here tonight talking all things paranormal, and we'll probably get into some wrestling as well because old Davey likes wrestling. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I sometimes go on YouTube to watch the old school matches. I mean, who isn't a fan of the NWO and the Four Horsemen? Come on. John, Stacey, welcome back.
Yeah, I don't want to know. Yeah. Thank you. We are very glad to be back.
I got to ask you. Paranormal television, you've been a part of it. You've been doing everything, pretty much done everything in the paranormal for the last 22 years. Where are all these people coming from and getting these television contracts? Because I was sitting around talking with some paranormal friends the other day, and I'm like, who are these people? Not to be rude. I'm not saying that to be rude or because there's a lot of people who do not know who I am or this show is. But you would expect that some television shows you at least recognize one or two people, whether it's from other shows or on social media. And it just seems like a lot of these shows are getting all these new faces, and it's hard to keep up right now, John.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, I've had this question, amongst some paranormal friends of mine as well. And really, it's a lot of people that haven't been doing lectures at the library for 22 years, and I got to do this without trying to sound, bitter or whatever like that, because I'm not at all. And, we've had our fair share of people approach us, over the time and with this thing or that thing as far as the show goes. And obviously, my stints, as guest star or whatever. And some people do it right. And I'll even take the Ghost Brothers, for instance, which I got to hang out with them again at Scarefest about a month ago. And, they really, they came in, and then when they came in, they said, we don't know anything about, the equipment or what we're really doing here. We've all had experiences, but we've not done this. But they were funny and they had personality, and they were really out there saying, this is what we do. We're not, we're going to do the paranormal. And they tried to learn everything they could. They applied themselves. They read all the books. They listened to all the shows, and really became very good at what they're doing, and had a natural flair for it. I don't mind it when it's like that. What I mind is when you come in and you've got, 4 agents, and you've got, a whole street team behind you and everything, and no one's ever heard you. The washboard abs and the Invisalign or whatever.
You're describing me again.
Nobody. I mean, you know, nobody. And when I say nobody, you go to conventions, right? Everybody does conventions. Everybody has the social media team, or they've led something at one point. And, you know, so somebody has normally heard the name. And, you know, so like you said, not everybody's, I to agree with you. I think everybody's heard of you, Dave, but there are people out there who don't know who John and Stacey Edwards are or whatever. And, you know, but there's probably a friend of theirs, if they're in the paranormal, really in the paranormal, that have heard of us. You know, somewhere along the line, somebody's going to hear it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's some actors or, you know, and I'm not trying to be, like I said, mean or anything about it, but it does pose an interesting question, because it's not some of the people I would expect to see, because I could sit here and name 5 people that should have a show that I would tune in to watch and, you know, and listen to their knowledge. Mm-hmm. And people you have on your show as regulars.
Absolutely.
You know, I think of David
Weatherly there, a good friend of yours and mine. Sorry to cut you off there, but how David Weatherly does not have a weekly special on chasing down the paranormal, mm-hmm. I have no idea. How he does it. I mean, he's got the knowledge. He's got, you know, he's not a bad looking guy. He's got fantastic hair. He has contacts all over the world. You know, he's written about everything. This is absolutely. He's a reality show as it is. John Tenney is another one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know, it's
two names
ridiculous.
I constantly put those guys over, both of them. For, you know, they've both been guests on our show before, and I respect and admire both of them. And,
me too.
You know, that's who I was thinking of. You know, I was thinking of Tenney when I was saying that. Who wouldn't tune in weekly just to listen to John Tenney tell us, you know, bedtime stories?
Absolutely.
I mean, it'd be interesting, you know?
Tenney wouldn't even have to do an actual investigation. He could just sit there in his ascot, his necktie, with his eyebrow crooked, and we would all stand there and watch, or sit there and watch for like 2 hours. We would. He wouldn't even have to say anything. We would just watch. And people who don't know John Tenney, find him on YouTube. It's weirdlectures.com. All right. Find him. The guy is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And John, if you're listening right now, which there's a good chance that you are, I hope you have a nice necktie on right now while you're listening, bud.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, though. When you see someone like John Tenney, he exudes, you've got a confidence in him and in the story that he's telling you. You know, from the first lecture I ever saw him do, you know, 5 minutes in, I was sitting there looking at Stacey going, you know, wow. Mm-hmm. This is right. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I hear so many people talk just BS, you know, and stuff that just makes you roll your eyes or whatever. But he was really getting to the heart of the matter. His case files, you know, it was like 6:04 in the afternoon. You know, it was a cloudy afternoon. You know, and it was really taking a pencil and a notebook and maybe a recorder and doing investigations the way they should be done over a course of weeks, over a course of months, not over the course of 2 nights.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The reason why I brought that up, I've been in a little fuming, and I actually wrote my blog a day early, and Captain Shirk will post it tomorrow on the SOR Newswire under Dave's blog, or I think I call it like Dave's Right Away now. I came up with a catchy name for that. Anyways, at least I thought it was catchy. Anyways, I had this gentleman, I've been talking to this gentleman. He and someone else asked, hey, we heard about your show. We'd like to come on. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I got this new television show that's going to start showing on such and such a network. You know, I'd love to chat with you. And I'm like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Of course. Let's do it. You know, I have no problem with that. It looks good. Well, about 2 weeks ago, his publicist starts emailing me. And yeah, we're ready for the show. What do you need? Apparently they were going to bring on numerous guests, and then it was just going to be him. And I'm like, I don't care. Just get me a phone number. All right? Get me a phone number. And she wouldn't give me a phone number. So earlier today, every Wednesday, so for my listeners, and you guys understand, okay, what I normally do for guests, unless I'm scrambling like for John and Stacey tonight, I normally will send a confirmation request email every Wednesday to all of our guests coming up for the next week. So everything was great, and all of a sudden today, our guest just wants to do 30 minutes, maybe an hour. So no, he agreed to 2.5 hours. Well, he doesn't want to do that. I said, well, if he doesn't want to promote his show and his paranormal experiences and what got him into this field to approximately 177,000 people a night, I said, that's fine. I'll get a hold of you in the future. She goes, oh, sounds great. So I'll find someone else for Monday. But then I stewed on it. And my God. No, I was stewing. Total stewing. And I sent an email back, and you can read it in my blog because I put it in there. I just said, you know what? I no longer have interest. I don't want to. Yeah, you're not going to hear from me talking about this guy anymore. If he can't give the respect of his time to our audience, I don't want him. Don't want him at all. This reeks of ego, and just because he's got a television show now. Oh, pardon me. The email before that, she then stated in her final email to me, this really got me stewing, was, yeah, he has a flight later on that night. Oh, so we're just, like, for the last 4 weeks, we're just finding out he has a flight that night? Like, come on. Do you think I just rolled over? But the problem that we have, and you guys being podcasters know this, all right? Most people in the paranormal, not so much UFOs, not so much cryptids, but most people in the paranormal always seem to be very aloof when it comes to doing radio shows and our podcasts. Have you noticed that? The ego is way too large.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So I ended up dumping this guy. Dumped him. So, yeah, we don't need you. Don't need you. And I'm not going to be calling back again. I've done that to about, not a lot of people, maybe 3 people now in the history of this show. And 2 of them have come back asking for interviews. Both in 2019.
Wow.
And I got to say, go F yourself, San Diego. You know what I'm saying? I did. I totally did.
Absolutely.
I totally did. There was one author who, I think this show was maybe about 9-10 months old, who literally canceled on me 20 minutes before the show, insulting me, saying, you haven't read my book, so I don't think we're going to have a very good interview because I don't think you can do it and understand and ask me the questions that need to be asked. I said, you know what? Don't need you on the show. Well, earlier this year, gentleman's name is Arjun Atwal or something like that. No, Arjun Ardog. And anyways, his publishing company emails me, we would love for you to get Arjun on the show. He's got a brand new book, and this is what it's all about. And now I'm rubbing my hands together. Here comes the email. Your client is an a-hole. I will never have him on Spaced Out Radio ever. And then I went into this giant paragraph of what this person did, this author did, and insulted me and my programming. I don't care. Insult me all you want. And I'm sure you guys are the same way. Insult us all you want. But don't insult my audience. They're good people. Because in the end, it's about them. It's not about my ego. It's not about their, the show. It's about the audience. And when you rip off my audience, I got a problem. And do you guys go through that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like we said, we used to be live, so we would go. And when you go live, the biggest thing in growing an audience, which but for some of the listeners, is to be consistent. In my opinion, it's the consistency. If you're going to be a weekly show, same time every week, if you're going to be a daily show, blah blah blah, and you don't want a lot of cancellations and last second changes and whatnot. So, our only problems we ever had live were when we would have the paranormal guys or girls. And, that was the only issues and that was the only cancellations. One guy canceled on us and 3 times. Mm-hmm. I called his house. I called everything. And this guy was let's just say he was an OG ghost hunter. I won't say the name of the show, Ghost Hunter, but he was one of the originals there, and he just kind of cracked out on us. And, I don't mean he was on crack. I mean, he just kind of cracked out. And there was a lot of ego involved in that, but that's the only times we've ever had it. And it's always been the same thing. Like, I'm going to talk this long or that, I can't have this. And I think really it goes back to that mentality of, the reason you're not getting that on the UFO guys and the reason you're not getting that in the crypto is you're still at a place with crypto and UFO where the paranormal was at one time. Like when we got into the paranormal, there wasn't, even at the conventions, it was just like, okay, all weird people meet here. It wasn't as specialized because there wasn't as many of you that would come out of the woodwork. And, paranormal got on this huge boom and everybody thinks there's money. Folks, there's not.
Right. You're going to spend a lot.
Yeah, you're going to spend a lot of money in it. When you get on TV, if you're lucky, you're going to get enough to, take the time off work at first until you get to that level and prove that you can sell advertising. Mm-hmm. That's just the TV game. But they believe that this is going to be something, so they go there and they have their internet television show that they promote like it's an actual TV show. And I'm not saying there's it's going to sound like Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
Because we have also had our internet television show, but we just didn't promote it the same way. We said, hey, this is our internet TV show. We're really happy for the 26 of you that are currently tuning in. I know 2 of those are you, Grandma. But, and I think you got to it like that because you have to have that work mentality, and the UFO field still does, mm-hmm. and the crypto field still has that. We might have to be at this convention for 3 days, mm-hmm. talk to an empty room, but that's what it's going to take to get this word out. Mm-hmm. And I think
we never had a problem with any of the conspiracy theory guests either. Like they wanted to come on and talk
because they're going to be dead in a couple of weeks.
Like you don't have any trouble with that,
right?
No, and it's funny because my audience will probably roll their eyes, especially Mr. Skeptic on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio. But, and I know he's rolling his eyes and I mentioned his name on the air, so I'll get 2 eye rolls for this. But in the UFO field, the biggest issue that we have in there is we have a bunch of people who have never been journalists before who are now calling themselves journalists or investigative journalists. Much like we have all of these paranormal people out there calling themselves scientists. I know there's one person out there calling himself an investigative journalist who literally works as a bartender and a barista, and he's on record. and because of this, he has literally got himself a TV show, spoken at about 8 or 9 conferences across the United States this year. And my whole thing in regards to this is for anybody, it doesn't matter whether you're in the paranormal, you're in cryptids, you're in UFOs, if you're willing to lie about your credentials, how can we trust your research? That means your research is BS as well. What are your thoughts, John?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I go by a golden rule of, some of my training for other jobs, I always call them my Bruce Wayne jobs, because I won't talk about, companies I work for when I'm doing radio or whatever. But, I hold a pretty high position in the company I do work for. Some of my training in the past involved something called Wicklander, which is, the basically interview and interrogation. And, you're using you've seen it like on the show Lie to Me and things like that, but I used to have to interview a lot of people that had stolen money from the company in different locations or different stores or whatever. That was my job day in and day out. I had to decide if I was going to go to jail or not. And, so there was a whole lot of, when you do a job like that, you get really tired of liars. So when I do an interview for a client, I always interview them on camera, when we're getting ready to go to a residential, I should say. And, I like to do that just to see, what we're dealing with. I look at the book cabinet, to see, if it's all books on demonology, and things like that. Not that people are telling the truth, but I just want to know, maybe they believe that something's happening to them. But as far as the field goes, we are so painstaking on not releasing evidence that could be potentially false, that we have walked away from an actual television opportunity once, that because somebody wanted to put a pair of boots in a certain place and say that, we had just found them there and they weren't there before. And I lost my mind and was just like, no way. So that never happened. But I'm not afraid to do that. And Stacey is probably the most hardcore person. I say we never fight. I'm not talking about interview review night, or investigative review night. When we go through evidence, this girl, if it could be anything else, I will know for a fact. I'll be Stacey. That was hanging from a rope. There was nobody anywhere near the room. And she's like, yeah, I love to have that, but we balance each other out on that quite a bit. When you lie about one thing, I can't trust you on anything else. And, it's just the way it is. And real quickly, on the job I used to have, I would tell someone who handled cash. Let's just say if there was a cashier at a store, and they would be like, well, I wasn't actually stealing money. I just counted it back wrong. And my answer was always, your job is literally cashier. The word cash is in there. Not sure what the ear means, but the word cash is in there, and and that's what your job is. So whether you're too stupid to count it back correctly or you're a thief, either way, I've got a problem. So, and I can never trust you. So, and that's how I feel about the field. Once you do it, that's all we got is credibility, because it is not science. There is nothing concrete. It's pseudoscience at best. And, even on the things we've agreed on, the ghost hunter canon, that, this works and this can tell if a ghost is here and all this stuff, that's just stuff we accept it to believe, So yeah, I'll get off my soapbox, but I'm right there with you. This guy, whoever this may be out there doing this, that'll come out. It always does.
Yeah, it's amazing. You always sit there and you think hard work pays off. Hard work pays off. And then all it takes is a few people out there to lie about their credentials, gain a little bit of ego because they got the lucky break, and all of a sudden they're too good for the fans out there who want to hear from them. We're going to talk more paranormal. John and Stacey Edwards. You can go buy their awesome book, Till Death and Beyond, The Haunted Journey of John and Stacey Edwards, at Spaced Out Radio's We Read the Night. Go click on there right now. It's up for sale. You want to grab it. Hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio with John and Stacey next.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks, I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there. The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacey, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
Hey Spaced Out Radio fans, it's John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from vans to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject, from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiemer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans and down in Dangerfield, Texas, KDNF AM 1560. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Great to have you with us. Don't forget, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Reciprocornis. Reciprocornis is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Go to We Read the Night. You can pick up a great book from a great author like our guests tonight, John and Stacey Edwards. Their book is on there. You can buy it right there, too. You can shop at the SOR Vault if you need some new clothes. You can join the SOR Space Travelers Club, $5 a month. Rock out to Bumblefoot and keep up to date on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. As I said, John and Stacey Edwards are our guests tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Paranormal investigators out of the, I don't even know where the hell you guys live, but I think it's somewhere like around Indiana or someplace like that. Not that it matters. They got a great book called Till Death and Beyond, The Haunted Journey of John and Stacey Edwards. Welcome back.
Thank you. And we live in Virginia.
Virginia.
Yes.
I'm Canadian,
East Coast.
man. I'm Canadian. Just let me live through this, okay? Let me live through this. Hey, you know what?
We moved from Maine.
Oh, you're making your way west. Look at that. Are you? Hold on. Now I have to.
Yeah, we're trying to make it. Oh, we're trying to actually get out west. So that's the next destination is somewhere in the desert.
Nice. Very nice. The desert is nice. I'd move to Vegas in a heartbeat if I could. I really would. I love Vegas.
Yeah, it's our. I just want to be able to see. I want to be able to see the night sky. You know, I want to have. I cannot stand having mountains around. I love mountains to visit. But to actually have to live and traverse in mountains every day is not the best way to go.
I do it, but I got the bright skies as well. Very bright skies.
Yeah,
but
you live in one of the best places on earth.
I think so. I'm not going to lie. It's very haunted here, too, which is cool. Hey, I want to ask you, we're getting closer to Halloween. We are only about 12 days away, 11 days away from Halloween. And I'm curious, out of all your 22 years, Stacey, of investigating the paranormal, what's the creepiest story that you have that still haunts you personally to this day?
Well, it's have to be, we did one of our documentaries at Major Grand Mansion, and that's a mansion here in Virginia. It's got Civil War ties, very old, very haunted. And it's one of those places that we went a lot of times in a row. Like, we were just drawn there over and over. We couldn't seem to get away from it. And that happens sometimes, with paranormal teams. Sometimes you'll find a location and it feels like you just are drawn to that location. And we investigated quite a lot. And at one point when we were doing some filming and stuff, we were investigating in this one room. It's one of the most haunted rooms in the mansion. And John decided that I needed to go into this closet by myself. And he said, you need to spend some time in this closet and, take this camera. And they put a microphone in there with me, like a really high gain, like very sensitive microphone. And John outside of the closet and wore headphones and listened to see if anything would come across live on the microphone while I was in the closet and, with the camera. And so I went in there and I did an EVP session. And one of the first things I asked was, is there anyone in here with me? And of course, I didn't hear anything at the time. It was very creepy because it was small and dark and the whole room just had a very heavy feeling anyway. But I didn't hear anything. So John comes to the closet a few minutes later and he knocks on the door. Doesn't let me out. He just knocks on the door and he said, I just want you to know that when you asked if anyone was in here with you, I heard a voice over the microphone that said, I'm in here with you. He's like, so I just want you to know that. And then he left me in there, for a little bit longer. So that's always been one of the really creepy things. We have that EVP, we were recording, and anytime I listen to it, it gives me the chills.
That would freak me out. There's nothing more eerie.
It was a very deep voice, like a very deep male voice just saying, I'm in here with you.
The only time that I have really been scared, like petrified scared, was at this old hockey rink I used to work at. And it wasn't even that old. What they did was, in my old hometown, there was this hill that they cut out to build like a string of warehouses that are all connected. And right at the end of this warehouse strip, we had this hockey training facility. So take a hockey rink and shrink it down to about 2/3 the size. That's what we used as a training facility. We had a gym in there and everything. And this place freaked me out. I had so many paranormal experiences there when I was like 20, 21 years old, because usually I was the guy who was locking up at night. And it was just completely eerie. Like, I heard one time, a friend of mine and I, we were upstairs, and we heard the front door unlock, and the sound of footsteps on the tiles, and then turn up to come up the stairs where we were. And we stood there and watched the stairs. I'm like, hello, who's here? And there's nobody there. Nobody's answering. The footsteps just stopped. So I go look out the window, because I'm right by the window where I could see, okay, who pulled up? There's no cars anywhere except mine. And we go downstairs. Now we're freaking out. Go downstairs to go check the door because we heard it unlock. Didn't hear it lock, because it was one of those locks that you needed a key to lock on both sides. And go to run out the door, and the door is locked. Freaked me right out. Freaked me out. That place was so haunted. So haunted.
I've got a hold my beer moment here.
Please do.
If it's okay. There's actually one quick one, and one that I will get through. You can cut me off at any time, by the way. That doesn't hurt my feelings. No ego. The quick one is the morning after I met Stacey. We had a wonderful night together and at a club, and it was kind of seeing her across the dance floor, blah blah blah. So I go home. Well, I go to my mom and dad's actually, and I go to crash on their couch, which I would do sometimes. That was about the time my mom had first got sick. Now she's still sick, and she's basically bedridden to this day with a variety of illnesses. And honestly, they gave her, time before that they didn't think she'd need, be with us anymore. But she's stubborn as me. So she is, thank God, still kicking, and I think she will. I think she'll outlive us all. But she was, in bed sick most of the time, and because of this, she had gained a little weight, and she had lost, some of her hair. And when I was a kid, I thought it was one of Charlie's Angels. That gives you an idea there, like she was really all about, what she wore and everything like that. So that's the backstory to this. So I think this is strange because of what we have went into together in our life. I was sleeping on the couch, and I woke up, and I was kind of, moving around. I may or may not have drank a lot the night before and was dealing with a headache. So I was laying with my face to the back of the couch, and there's a big picture window. So the sun's coming in, and that's already bothering me, half vampire. And my mom starts just kind of fussing at me. And I had Stacey's phone number in my pocket, and she had told me, hey, use this, if you want to. And so I turn over to talk to my mom, and the sun's coming in behind her, but she's standing there, and I'm not paying attention to the fact my mom from 1977. I'm not paying attention to the fact that it's my mom in her, I can still remember the clothes she was wearing, but she had her long hair. She's about 125, 130 pounds. She was just standing there, telling me not to talk to Stacey, not to call the number, to, and all this stuff. And I was like, how do you even know? And I was fighting with her, and all of a sudden I hear my mom, back bedroom, go, John, honey, is that you? And the other mom was gone. Now, really? that happened to me 100%. And that later that day, I told Stacey that weird story. I said, this is going to be hard to believe. I was like, but I don't know what was happening. I would have thought I was dreaming had I not got right up from that. It was, I never laid back down. It was no hallucination or anything like that. It happened to me. And the house has been, that house has been haunted. As far as creeping me out, I don't know what the reason. I don't know if that was a universal thing. I don't know what was trying to keep me there, away from, Stacey. The other thing is interesting because, you can see this on the season 2 of Ghost Brothers Cott County War Memorial episode. It's so strange because she was talking about Major Graham Mansion. I'll make this quick. The producer got a hold of me and said, hey, we're filming this Major Graham Mansion. We know you guys have done this documentary. We would love to have you as the guest investigator, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, absolutely. I've done it a ton of. I would prefer not to go back there, but I will because I've had certain attachments and stuff. But I'll definitely do it. I was going to drive down from Maine, basically 12 or 13 hours to do this show because I wanted it to be done right. And the week before the show, the house called. Well, the house didn't call. The person over the house called. That would be really weird. But the people from Major Graham called and said, we can't do it. And we don't want you there or something, I was like, well, that's really weird. So she was all out of her mind. She was like, man, I really need another place. John, I'm so sorry. Thank you for, giving me your time. And I wish there was another place. And I was like, yeah, me too. If I hear of anything, I'll let you know. And I hang up, and all of a sudden it hits me. A lot of people seen the Kevin Smith movie from '97 called Chasing Amy. In that movie, it's titled that because the guy's always been trying to chase that relationship, and I've always called it Chasing Newport because Cott County, Newport, it's the same thing. In 2004, I had an investigation there. And in that investigation, you talk about the scariest. We weren't even really, we had to go through hoops to get in there in the first place because of the people of the city that own the building of the War Memorial. And it's a really place. But I go in there investigating right off the bat. There's a lot more to it. There was, and you could see all this on the episode, but there was a plane crash that happened. They had to piece the bodies from the 60s back together in this place. They didn't know who was who. There was doctors on the way to a nuclear plant that's there in Oak Ridge near this facility. And they, there was some stuff the FBI showed up, took papers before anybody even got to the wreckage. So there was all these other things I wasn't aware of at the time. But I'm in this building, and I am there with a police officer that I had with me on the team, and a seasoned investigator. And like I said, this was 2004. This was big flashlights and actual tape, on our recorders. So we're in the gymnasium area, and I hear something bouncing. And it's a true like gymnasium floor. There's a big door on one side, another big door on another side because it's an old building, heavy doors. And I'm like, do you hear that? And they're like, yeah, I hear it, and there's three of us. And I turn my light on and I'm like, where is that? What is that? And it sounded like a little ball, not like a basketball, like a little ball bouncing right in front of us. And it's the sensation you can ever imagine. If you take your pen and tap it in front of you, and that tap is happening right in front of you, but you're looking as hard as you can and you can see nothing, that's a strange sensation. So that started happening all around us. And I'll be honest with you, I was terrified because this was true paranormal activity happening right at us. And then I got hit in the head, and I still had hair at the time, but I got hit in the head with something, and I seen it on the ground, and it was a wooden bingo ball, an old school wooden bingo ball. And, where they painted the letters on there or whatever, and real old deal, completely round. So then the cop got hit with one. The other guy, the third guy didn't, but we both had several times where it was like it was dropping from wherever, and because there was a ceiling, and it was hitting us. And I got mad. I just got mad. I was like, listen, I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but, is this you trying to communicate with us? You got to do something better than this. If you can do this, you can appear. You can do something. I got fired up like that, which I don't do anymore. But all of a sudden, this door slams on the other side. And I mean, when I say slams, it slammed where everybody probably had to buy new Hanes. And then the door other side of the gymnasium, no air. There's a complete outside part that's locked up. And when it slammed back open, because it did, it slammed so hard into a stucco wall that it took several of us to get it out. And, it was later on the actual evidence, we captured, I said, who are you? What's going on? And I still have this EVP from 2004 today, and it says, I effing murdered. And it's angry, and it doesn't say effing. I'm just being nice here, but it's just a female voice, but it's angry, and it says I was murdered, and it's Class A, plain as day, no two ways around it. We almost had a fight downstairs, which happened again later on, and it happened with the Ghost Brothers. 10 minutes into having the Ghost Brothers there, me and Marcus were downstairs, and a disembodied voice goes, Marcus. And he goes, I was like, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah. It was 10 minutes into the investigation, but something happened. I called this producer back, And I was like, look, I've got a place, but you're not going to be able to get into it because they've never let me back in there. It's been, 15 years. And she called, did LA magic. And, it took several calls, but we got everybody involved on the TV show. That always helps. So the whole fire department, the whole town was abuzz. There's like 2,000 people in the town. And that whole story is my story on that episode. So basically in a week's time, they actually got rid of the historian because I knew more than the historian did on the building just from being haunted by it for so many years.
I got to ask you, in regards to that building, because it was 15 years since you had been there, were you haunted by that building? Did it often come to you in dreams? And the reason why I ask that is I'm fascinated with a story that a gentleman, a good friend of this show named Nelson Dellis has. He's tried to climb Mount Everest 3 times. He's never summited, almost died on the mountain twice. And he's going back again in 2020 to try and summit for finally. And I think he's going to do it this time. Anyways, he says that he has been woken up in the middle of the night by Everest calling him. Did you have that with this house as well? No, I did not, but it haunted me in the fact that I was always looking for, I think there's a bit of thrill seeking to this. People might not want to admit that, but when you watch NASCAR, if there is anybody left that watches NASCAR, you don't watch it to watch people go left for 10 hours. You watch it, unfortunately, for the wrecks or the rubbing is racing kind of thing. You watch a fight for the knockout. I think that a lot of, paranormal is really having that moment, that moment that you may have to go. You might have to go 4 investigations and 100 hours before you get that, that moment, that chair move across the floor or that push or that scratch or something that's tangible. And this place had so many events happen to me. I remember being terrified driving 3 hours after this with this guy going back to our home and just being petrified. Absolutely petrified at what had occurred to us, because the other part to that bingo ball story is there was an old bingo ball machine in another part of the building completely separate from this part, and they were in a cage that you took the handle and you roll the cage around and then get the ball, and so those things would have had to somehow come out of that cage, somehow go through solid concrete and come into that gymnasium to fall on us. And it's a silly story. It's a silly story to tell, right? It sounds fantastical. But it happened because these people were wanting to tell a story that we were able to tell, thank goodness. And that's why I do have respect for them and their researchers, because they were actually took it seriously and did some research and found out some stuff I didn't even know. On that note, I'm going to get you guys to hold on. John and Stacey Edwards are our guests tonight on Spaced Out Radio. What a show. We're going to get into more paranormal stories. If you want to check out their website, it's paranormalsideshow.com. Also, the name of their podcast. They also have a great book out called Till Death and Beyond, The Haunted Journey of John and Stacey Edwards. Fantastic cover, by the way. We're going to continue with the paranormal stories. After this, John and Stacey will be with us for another hour here on Spaced Out Radio.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, CHIVE Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have you with us as we head into the weekend. Reminder, if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can always go to our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, sign up for the SOR Space Travelers Club, or pick yourself up a book at We Read the Night, including the book of our guests, John and Stacey Edwards, Till Death and Beyond. God, I almost went through the wedding vows there for a second. Stacey, John, welcome back.
Yeah, well, it's a play on that.
Yeah, I figured that. You guys are a good-looking couple. I mean,
thank God for Stacey. That sort of balances it out, or tips the scales for us.
Let's just be honest. Stacey wears a Lucha Libre mask sometimes, doesn't she?
Only when he asks me to.
Oh my
man, that's sexy.
That is totally sexy. Totally sexy.
Wow.
I want a picture of the Lucha Libre mask
she's
on
pretty,
Stacey.
I
totally will. Just don't tell Mrs. SOR, because then she'll want one. But anyways, we're talking paranormal tonight, and in regards to some creepy, freaky stories that have kind of happened throughout your lives as paranormal investigators. Have you ever had a situation, and this one situation that creeps me out and many people out there, that involve children, the ghosts of children? And the reason why I bring that up is I have a ghost at my house that will sometimes mimic my son.
Well, Stacey has some, I guess you would call this years of hearing mama, and it will not be our daughter, because, as a mother, you're always, checking on your kid. You're always wondering if they're okay and worried about it. But I've heard it too. So she was telling me at first, and I believe her, but, everybody, I don't care who you are, you're skeptical until you experience it. And if you were not there when it happened, it's hard for you to really fathom what happened, but you can tell them about that.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where we live, because we move a lot, for John's normal job. And no matter where we are, I'll just be in the house, and it's when I'm not really expecting it, I'm not really paying attention, and I'll just hear a mama, and I'll say, what? I'll yell back, and then I won't hear anything, so then I'll go find our daughter, and I'll be like, did you holler for me? And she'll be like, no, I didn't yell. She'll have headphones on or whatever, and at first I thought I was just imagining it, but then one day, John and I were in the room together, and he heard it, and I heard it, and I didn't, follow up on it, because I was starting to get used to it. And he was like, I think she's hollering for you. And I was like, I don't think she is, but I'll go check. And I went to check, and it wasn't her. It was just this mama that I heard for a long time. It was years that was going on.
My goodness. My goodness. The two instances that I can recall with my son were one time I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was on the phone with me, and all of a sudden I heard this happy squeal. You know how toddlers get that happy, high-pitched squeal? And
yeah, absolutely.
I said to her, I said, did you hear that? And she goes, yeah. I said, you heard my son, right? And she goes, yeah. I said, my son is not home. And she said, what? I said, there's nobody home but me. My son is at daycare 10 minutes away. And she was like, no bloody way. We'll go upstairs and check. So I go upstairs, I check around, and no one is home. So she's now freaked out about this. So she's like, I'm staying on the phone with you until you get your boy because I want to hear him. And then I had my son say hi to her, and she's like, dude, that was the same voice. And then a few months later, I got a text message that it was dinner time. So I'm just sitting here in the studio working away and get the text message. Okay, it's dinner. So I'm putting my shoes on to go upstairs, and right before I put my shoes on, I hear the tap, tap, tap on my door, my studio door, of a little hand. So I quietly sneak up to the door because I'm going to go to my son. Boo! Right? Because he's like 4 years old at the time. And I open the door. Boo! And there's nobody there. So I look around, see if he's around the corner. No. I go upstairs, and there he is sitting on the couch playing on his iPad. So I said to my daughter, I said, how long's the boy been up here? She's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, was he just downstairs like 90 seconds ago? She's like, no, he's been on the couch on his iPad singing away to music. I'm like, no, somebody knocked on the door downstairs, and it was a child. And there he was upstairs the entire time. Yeah. And Mrs. SOR has heard him many times when he's either been at school or he's been asleep. It's weird. Really weird.
Does he show any signs of knowing things or, intuition or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm sitting... The freakiest thing... here's something freaky. So last October, I'm getting him ready for bed. It's a Sunday night. Okay, we're having a guy's weekend, all right? And he has this bowl of cereal. We're sitting at the island in our kitchen, and he's on my left, and he's at the end of the aisle, and I'm kind of, sitting beside him. And both him and I watch what look like military captain bars of light that are probably 18 inches long go right from our dining room right to our kitchen window and out the window. And I looked at him and I said, did you see that? And he's like, yeah. I said, what did you see? He goes, I saw those two lines of light. And I'm like, that was awesome. And then he just continues on eating his cereal. He continues eating his cereal. Oh, this isn't over yet. He continues eating his cereal like nothing happened. And like 2 minutes later, all of a sudden he is hit with a tantrum of crying. And he looks at me. I said, what's the matter? Why are you crying? And he looks at me dead in the eye, tears pouring down his face, says, I don't want you to die, and you're going to die soon.
Oh, my God.
That's creepy. Have never been more freaked out than that. I thought I was going to die. We had the countdown on. I figured 48 hours. If I could get through 48 hours, I was fine.
Wow.
That scared the hell out of me.
Bro, that's heavy.
That is, yeah. Like,
how old was he at that time?
4. He's 6 now.
Okay. Right. And, I mean, anything else like that? I mean, has he ever said anything else that, I mean, did you ask him where he got that from, or?
He just had a feeling. He just had a feeling that I was going to die soon. I'll tell you, the next 2 weeks after that happened, guys, I was walking around in bubble wrap. Okay, I was like, I'm not going into the bush to go get firewood. I'm not, using my chainsaw or my lawnmower, or, I'm not walking downstairs. Nothing. Not taking any chances. I was like, Mrs. SOR, you go sleep on the couch. I'm sleeping in the bedroom with the door locked because I'm not taking any chances here.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Mrs. SOR have I ever shared this on the show? I think I have. But she was actually in the kitchen one day and saw the little guy and our dog staring at the doorway on the other side of the kitchen. And that leads to a hallway that goes down to our bedrooms. And when she looked in the doorway, she saw this being standing there that was it was like a black shadow that was all aurored in different colors. And wow. she was watching the boy and our dog stare at this thing in the doorway.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so yeah, he's definitely got the shine.
Oh yeah, all three of my kids do. All three of my kids do in one way or another. It's kind of cool. It's really kind of cool.
You're open. You're open to the paranormal. You're open to UFOs. You're open as they know what Daddy does. I do believe that we don't start out as closed-minded as we end up. And I think when kids, traditionally show signs of this, a lot of times it gets put off on imagination, or it gets trampled on. And I think that closes our third eye quite a bit. And it's one of those things, like the person who used to walk was my great-grandmother when I was a kid. And I remember seeing my dead, great-grandfather come down the stairs and look over at me, and it was like, shh. And, not in a bad way, but I then find out to be that age, he was already gone. Looking back on that. But she used to get mad at me if I was talking to something under the piano or things like that. John, you can't do that. You can't, people, they'll put you in a crazy house and all this stuff. So, I mean, it really does affect you and your gifts. So I think if you're in an open household like that, where it can nourish and you're not stymied by the parents, I think it really helps the gift.
I think so too. How have you guys been with your own family in being paranormal investigators when it comes to your own kids?
Well, it's different with the different kids. Like our oldest daughter, she's had quite a few paranormal experiences, especially with John, and she has decided that she doesn't want anything to do with it. She's like, I've heard it, I've seen it. Nothing. I don't want to go investigating. I don't want anything to do with it. But now our youngest daughter, she is very intuitive herself. She has her own gifts, and she can't wait to get into everything paranormal. Of course, she's still too young, but she can't wait to do anything and everything she can with investigating and spooky stuff, and she just loves it. So we sort of got a mixed bag with what they like and what they don't like.
And it's very strange because our oldest, Raja, she actually, the events that she's experienced are more hardcore and heavy than, there's paranormal investigators who go their entire career and don't get to investigate or see the things that she's got to see on accident. I used to go outside quite a bit, and I would need a place to meditate, and I would do it at nighttime. And I was told, I've never told this on anything, so because it's another wackadoodle story. So, but I was told I'm out there, and she would have an experience, that she needed to have this experience. So I go in there, and it's fun to listen to Raja tell this, but she comes out, and she's like, she's like, Daddy, I don't know. And I mean, she's like, at the time, like 21. I mean, she's like, I don't need to. I was like, no, I was told, just trust me. So she comes out there with me, and at the edge of the woods, which is right, we had a backyard, and we had these beautiful trees the woods. At the edge of the woods, there's this white looking something, and all of a sudden I can only really liken it to like a banshee yell. But it was blood curdling. It was just straight up out of a horror movie. So she goes inside as quickly as possible. And I go in with, I was like, I did not know that was going to happen. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, what was that? She goes, kind of stuff that happens all the time. I'm like, well, not like that. I was like, and the only other time, which is so funny, I have her at this place I investigated quite a bit, but we just so happened to have a studio at the bottom of this house. This guy he's really into Shinto. He has actually acclimated or whatever. He's got a certified Shinto shrine in America, and he not only has that, he has gates. He has Oni gates for the Oni, like a demon in Japan. Spent a lot of time in Japan. He's got a really cool life of some secret type stuff. We'll just say that from military perspective. He's taught martial arts at the highest level and learned them as well. So he has a lot of things around the house, and he tries to draw them in. He has actual walls built, and you can see pictures on my Facebook of me standing in front of like altars and fire and all. That's all at his place. But so he was having some stuff happen upstairs in this vacant apartment, and he wanted me to go up there and check it out. So I had Raja with me because we were on our way to wrestling, and I just stopped there to get something from the studio. So I was like, okay, come with me, darling. I was like, we'll go up here with him, and it won't take but just a few minutes. I just want to check it out. So we're up there, and we're standing pretty close together, the three of us, completely dark in there. And I'm just asking the normal questions. And all of a sudden, we start hearing a cackle of a little child-sounding thing that was going, heh, heh, heh. But it was the footsteps were running around us in a circle. And they kept running around us in a circle. It was not just a pitter-patter, but it was just completely running around us and cackling the entire damn time. She was holding this haunted doll that he has there that he tries to have things come through. I think they call her Priscilla, but it's a little, and because it was a cute doll. And but when we got out of there, we got in the car, and she goes, I love you. I need you to know that. She goes, but I never want anything to do with Mama do ever. I don't want any part of it. No matter what, I want to stay away from it. I've already had enough. So, yeah, that's our kids.
No convincing her. My goodness.
No. She don't need it.
She doesn't want a paranormal party then.
No. It's no paranormal parties. It's and when people get to that point, it's like, what do they need to do it for? One of my best partners ever for me and Stacey was Tim on our old show. Tim, the tech guy, and he was everything to us. Him and his family and us, we worked together for years. And he got to the point, and he's like, John, you know what? Being with you, I've seen it. I've seen everything I need to see. We've chased shadow figures. We've seen and heard this. I believe I've got all the proof I need. I don't want to do it anymore. So, people get to that point.
We only have a couple minutes left before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. John and Stacey Edwards are our guests tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Do you have a lot of activity around your house, considering you guys, live almost a full-time paranormal lifestyle? Have you brought anything home with you?
Well, absolutely. We have all kinds of activity in our house. It's hard to even avoid that. Even when you try to do, protections, I do different things at the house. I put quartz over the windows and, I try to do cleansings and stuff, but you still, you can't help it. And, we have one thing that happens in our house a lot, and John gets a kick out of it, is I have things go missing. And let's say I'm in the kitchen and I need my scissors, and I always keep them in the same place. Always know where they are, and I'll go, and they won't be there. And that's when I start going crazy. It drives John nuts. I'll start looking for them, and I'll look everywhere. I'll look in the same places 3 and 4 times. I'll open drawers. I'll move things. I'll just be in this tizzy until I find it. And finally, I'll just be like, all right, I can't find the scissors. I have no idea where they are. I'll go back to the kitchen, and they'll just be laying there, on the counter. And that happens all the time with a ton of different things. Something little that, I need right then, and I can't seem to find. We get those things that you see out of the corner of your eye. Sometimes you hear people call them like astral critters, things that follow you home from investigations, and you'll be walking around your house the next few days, and you'll just see something black out of the corner of your eye. It looks like maybe a cat or something run across the floor. We get those quite often. Those don't usually last very long, though, generally a few days, and then they'll go away. But yeah, we have knocks and bangs and, lights, all sorts of things. You just get used to it, living with it.
How do the kids react to that?
I mean, they're pretty used to it too.
We were watching TV the other night, and some stuff started going off in the kitchen, and everybody just stops. Now they know the routine. Youngest will look over and go, yeah, I heard it, before I even say anything. And we'll just go on and unpause the television and go back to watching whatever we were watching. Sometimes we'll tell it to be quiet, things like that. So it becomes a normal part of your life that's all they've ever known. And, we've got pictures of her when she was 2 years old with a flashlight and a mail meter, but trying to go around and just around, but that was her playing cops and robbers. She was playing investigators and ghosts.
Yeah, she was really cute. She had one of those, it was like one of those little tiny ghost meter things that would light up whenever you got EMF. I can't remember, someone gave it to us or something.
Cheap, yeah.
Yeah, and she would run up to all the electrical outlets in the hallway and hold it up so it would go off, and she'd be like, ooh, a ghost. It's like she found a ghost. So, yeah.
Well, we only got about 45 seconds or so until we got to go to break at the top of the hour. Would you want, Stacey, your life to be any different?
Absolutely not. I love it just the way it is. I love all the weird and all the crazy. I often wonder what normal people do, how they live, just ordinary lives. I don't know how. I don't think I could do that.
How about you, John?
I don't have a choice. It basically was, I can't imagine going and looking for a new home to lease without taking a recorder with me and freaking out the real estate agent. That's just part of what we do. We do it in antique stores, and just having that part of your life. It's just, I go off and do my normal thing. And then, as soon as I step through this door, it's a threshold, and it just starts. We kick it up.
Absolutely. My friends, John and Stacey Edwards, we got them for another 30 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio. Hour 3 coming up. And at the bottom, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned. Lots of SOR left.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiemer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, CHIVE Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world. relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot THAL, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. Want to say hello to everyone listening in on UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newnan, Georgia, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, and down in Dangerfield, Texas, KDNF AM 1560. On the digital side, hi to everyone on Revolution Radio and Kingdom of Nye Radio tuning us in. Really appreciate that. Don't forget, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Reciprocornis. Reciprocornis is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we got a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Don't forget, while you're there, sign up for the SOR Space Travelers Club. It's $5 a month. You can also do a little shopping at the SOR Vault and pick out a great book like the one we have for our guest tonight. Of course, you can read up till Death and Beyond, the haunted journey of John and Stacey Edwards, who we reintroduced for the final time. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
So during the break, I was showing John and Stacey Edwards the famous photo from the museum where I do the tour of the gentleman on the stairs. And the reactions they had were, oh my God, that is creepy. Nice photo, eh?
Yeah, it's a great photo, and I love the story behind it because of the skeptic that took it. He was looking, he is looking straight at that phone camera, and it's just so well formed. I mean, it's very obviously a very powerful presence, and it's funny because Dave was telling me as well the kind of the story behind it, and that he's he was obviously attacked by this being, and it really makes me think, you were talking about the book, and in the book I have a lot of stories like we've been telling here But I also have some of the theories, some of the really theories that after you do this for a long time, you develop your theories. And I would call it my main theory. If someone's saying, what have you developed over the years that you really look at as something you believe and you know for certain and all this good stuff. And I call it the keeper theory. And that sounds like a keeper to me. And anybody who has done any paranormal investigating ever, they know that sometimes you're doing call and response. You're using Spirit Box, or you're using EVP, or you're just, saying, will you finish shaving a haircut, please? And you're getting some really great responses. The activity's going great. Everybody's smiling. It's everything you want it to be. Paranormal Candyland. And all of a sudden, everything goes dead. There is no pun intended, there's no, the EMF meters at 0 all of a sudden. There's no responses. Completely silent. And a lot of people say, well, they must have used all their batteries. And I do agree, it's energy, right? So it's draining our batteries, obviously, because it happens. But a lot of times when this would happen, I would receive EVPs around that time with, let's just say I was talking to a nice female spirit where we're getting like, are you here? Yes. Blah, 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 help me. All the old standards, order from KTEL now, help me get out, all that good stuff. And then I would pick up, usually a male, but I would pick up something saying, shut up. Or I would have real menacing EVP around that time, which almost was like it was keeping it quiet. This traditionally happens, Dave, in places where, unfortunately, bad had happened before. Like, say there was a doctor one time that we did an old hospital, and a doctor had supposedly hurt some children, and he really still didn't want that story out because these people don't want these kind of stories out. It happened at Waverly quite often, and that's where Tina showed me the orbs come down and take another orb back into the facility. That they security camera. And, that really got me going. And I had the theory already that there is like a lot of times a controlling spirit, especially in a bigger place, kind of like a place like you do tours at, that will keep other spirits in line or keep them for good or bad. We don't know. I don't know if this is something that's bad that keeps these spirits from communicating, or something good that just keeps them there. I don't know. All is there usually is a dominant spirit, and I didn't have a name for it, but we did this this operational movie theater. And they called us and they're like, hey, we have 7 theaters, and we've actually had the seats ripped up all out of bolts. We've had, people see stuff every night. There's things happen. Every one of our employees has all this stuff happen. So we go do that place, and it is one of the most haunted places we've ever done. I mean, it was insanity. We have a full body apparition picture from there of a man holding a rifle and all this stuff. We found out about the land and stuff, but the story to this is I'm got some of my best and craziest EVPs there, but I'm sitting there and I'm like talking to somebody, and I'm getting responses on my mail meter. I'm getting it to turn flashlight on and off and all that good stuff. And then it kind of slows down, and I'm like, listen, I was like, don't be afraid. You can talk to us. Who would stop you? And I have a Class A EVP that we still have when we play for people that says the keeper will. And I got that same exact EVP on separate times at the same theater with a different voice saying the keeper will. And which is just amazing. Like, you can't have people go to a same location multiple times and get, the same EVP. So I'm like, well, that's the name. I'm going to call this thing a keeper. And, for good or bad. And that's what I thought of when I saw it, because we just have so many bigger places when we go. It seems like there's a dominant spirit.
Interesting. Mike Morin from Haunted Crew of Canada is very much like that. and he's a good buddy of mine, comes on this show once a month. And I'll tell you, I can go into our museum, nothing happens. Mike goes into the museum, and it's like they want to rip his head off. Why do you think that happens to certain people? Is it the connection? Is it the energy, Stacey?
Honestly, I believe that some people just have, I guess, what John calls a brighter light than other people. For instance, when we used to have a team, we'd have a lot of people, there was a running joke with our team that if you wanted to see something or experience something, that you would go with John, because something would always happen. And I think it's that way with certain people. Certain people just, I don't know if they're more sensitive or they're just easier for spirits to see. And those people always have more experiences than people that maybe are more closed off. And of course, when you have someone that goes to a location a number of times, the spirits get to know you and they communicate with you easier. You know, we have a friend, Wes Forsyth, he has a location that he does all the time, and he doesn't even investigate it anymore because he's done it so much. But sometimes they'll call him. He said they'll call him and say, you know, we have this tour coming through. Could you come by and maybe stir up some activity? Because anytime he goes there, because he's been there so often and the spirits know him. So, you know, there's a lot of different factors that play into that. With us, it's mostly John usually gets most of the activity because he does have that sensitivity and that extra, you know, ease of being able to be seen.
I think with you, Dave, that it sounds like a case of where they almost want to protect you. I know you've had the bad experience, but at the same time, obviously have grown to know you, as Stacey was talking about. But there's also many cases that we have where people are tour guides or the caretakers of the building, which would also mean that you're making sure that people come and keep this building as it is. And it keeps them safe. It keeps them where they want to be. So, you know, in a case like that, you're promoting that museum. You know, you're promoting that being popular. Mm. And I think that they would see that as a positive.
Well, we'll soon see. See, I'm not even a paranormal guy. Not even a paranormal guy. I'd much prefer playing with aliens. Just seems like more fun. Have you guys
They're
ever
probably all connected.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you. Have you ever found or had any dealings with cryptids or aliens that were connected to paranormal?
Wow, that's a really loaded one. Let me do this, because in using the hashtag for Spaced Out Radio, there was a question early on in the show. And if it's okay with you, I'll answer it really quickly. He asked if we could go back to where I said I was raised up as a child, and I'll get into that. So the memory was exactly this. I was playing on my play set that was outside of our home, and I could hear my mom. This is the mid 70s, so or late 70s, and the window was open, and my mom is a very loud talker, so you could probably hear her in Guam if she's on the phone, in the East Coast. So anyway, I was listening to her talk to her friend on the phone, and I was swinging back and forth on my swing set, nothing out of the normal, and I started being lifted into the air. Now, I could see the swing set below me. I could see the house. I could see, we lived on this in this neighborhood on top of a hill, and I could see everything, but I wasn't scared. It's not like I felt arms under my underarms or anything. I just was being lifted, and the whole time I was being told something by I remember the voice. I don't remember what it was saying completely, except some very mean things. It was in a very monotone voice of, don't be scared, it's okay, and something about plans. I don't remember much more than that, but I thought it was an angel just because of what I was exposed to. I always thought, well, that was an angel, and I would tell friends even then about it. I told my parents about it, and a lot of times the story just got brushed away. I mean, it's a kid talking, it's gibberish. And, but I never lost it. I always had that story. So fast forward years and years and years, and I'm on our show live, and I'm talking to a guy from MUFON. Actually, he was like the chief investigator for MUFON in the state of Tennessee at the time, Max. And so I'm talking to him, and I always come on regular as we have. And hey, what's going on right now? What have you seen this month? What's making the MUFON rounds? And this was 2010, 11. So we're going through this story, and I tell my story. I say, well, I've had some experiences and some weird ones with Stacey and I where we've seen stuff, and then we don't remember that we've seen it until we're back at that place. And, we've actually seen lots in the sky and things like that. Never talked about it, and because we just never remembered again until later on, and nothing too crazy except for that whole memory thing. But I told that story, and we ended up stopping at my mom and dad's house on the way home that night. And I go in there as always to see my mom in her room, and she asked me to close the door. And so I did, and she asked me to sit on the bed, and I did. And she said, because you were talking about it, because you were asking about it, I have to tell you. And the thing was, I'd asked this a million times, and they would never open up because I vividly remember being a child. It's those broken memories of them freaking out, of having my grandfather who lived across the street come over. He had his pistol at us, looking at the mountain behind us, all out in the yard, looking at lights. My mom freaking out. All this kind of stuff. I remember nights like that. And, I remember a shadow going by my window and me thinking it was Santa Claus, but it having a very crazy look to it, like it was on ground level. So I remember this thing just thin and tall. And, I just memories. So she tells me, craziest thing I'd ever heard her tell me, because my mom, my dad, everybody, they're Christians. My family, I'm the black sheep, so to say. I'm not saying I'm not religious. I'm just not, on their level there with everything. And so they don't do anything out of the ordinary. I mean, they're very good Christians. They're very good. Everything, that's what they do. So it's hard for her to tell me because it goes against sort of her beliefs. And she's like, when you were just barely, walking around, we were playing outside, and there was a craft come over the house, and she goes, I don't know how else to call it. She goes, you got to understand, honey, at the time it was, because I was born in 1974, so this would have been about 1977, which at the time in the area there was actually a flap, but so she said there was a craft over the house, and she goes, this stuff wasn't on TV. I never looked for it. I didn't know what they were supposed to look like. I don't like this stuff, and I was like, no, I understand. Just keep going. And she said, it was small. She goes, that's one of the strange things, is it was small, but it looked like something out of a 1950 sci-fi movie. It looked, it was metallic, and it was circle, and it wasn't, large. It was small. And we got up to the steps to go in, and you were pointing up. She goes, I'll never forget it. You were pointing up, and this light, this bright light, shines down on us. And the next thing I know, you're laying on a slab. You're laying on a bed, so to speak, beside me. I'm reaching out my arm. There's these things that are all looking down on us, and I'm begging not to hurt my baby. I'm saying, please take me, do whatever to me. Please don't hurt my baby. And I'm screaming and crying and begging to please don't hurt my baby. And she said that she didn't want to tell me a whole lot more than that. I said, what did they look like? And she goes, John, they looked like what you see on TV. what you see people say that have had it. Yeah. She said, what you see people say on TV. And I said, what do you mean? I was like, please be specific. She said they had big eyes. She said they looked like what you see. And she goes, the next thing that happened is we were laying in my bed, in her bed. It's her talking to me. And we were in her bedroom, and we were kind of face to face staring at each other. And she said, even though I was, just a kid, little kid, I put my hand over on her, like to comfort her kind of. And so she noticed the time. And when this had happened, it was maybe early afternoon, and it was almost 6 o'clock by the time that this was over. And she called my dad instantly, who worked at the town over, and she called him and told him everything that had happened hysterically. And I don't know, they buried it. They just buried it, but she has had nothing but health problems since then. And not another story on that, but the only other thing is Stacey had found me outside before in the middle of the night, completely without clothes, years ago. This was probably 2001. Mm-hmm. And I had a mark on the back of my arm that I still have to this day. It's just not a sore anymore. And it was completely perfectly circle. And we looked it up on the internet and found something called scoop marks. Because at the time, we weren't UFO people. We were paranormal people.
That is very interesting. And you know what? As we only got about 2 minutes left here with you guys tonight, I think that's the next phase, is trying to find that invisible thread that connects the paranormal to the supernatural, to intuition and consciousness, to the UFOs and aliens and Bigfoot, Dogman, every cryptid creature out there. And I think that has to be the next move for people in the field to start really, really looking into, to find the answers. Personally, I don't know why. I just feel the answers are there.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I think that a lot of your real deal paranormal people have had some kind of experience, somewhere along the way with other things, with other parts to it, as you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in paranormal that overlaps with alien abduction, things like sleep paralysis, demonic, even a lot of aspects of what people consider demonic oppression or possession are also signs of, alien abduction and things like that. So there are a lot of areas where you overlap those different things.
Yeah, neither of us believe in coincidence. So there's too many coincidental similarities. So yeah, we're right with you.
You got that right. John and Stacey Edwards, thank you so much for coming on the show. Give a quick 30-second plug where they can find your podcast and find your book.
Absolutely. They can go to paranormalsideshow.com. It has the links for everywhere to listen to the podcast. It's on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We've got all the links there and all the links for all the news we talk about. And you can go to Amazon.com and look up the book, To Death and Beyond, or you can buy it straight off of our website if you want an autographed copy. And
but actually, we're partnering up with probably the best show out there, and that would be Spaced Out Radio. And I think that people need to start going to the We Own the Night, which is a great program they're going to have with the paranormal and UFO and crypto authors out there. So you can find a little bit of everything there. And I think that's the place you need to go buy the book.
You guys are so awesome. John and Stacey Edwards, happy Halloween to you. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day as we take this home.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiemer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, BUMBLEFOOT.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a Space Traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have each and every one of you with us. Reminder, if you've missed the majority of this show or others, you can always head on over to our website or our archives on YouTube, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. You can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. It's updated daily. Do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Sign up for the Space Travelers Club. Lots of fun in there. And grab a great book from We Read the Night. Speaking of the news, let's get to it, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, and the utterly sometimes nonsensical. Here we go. We're going to kick things off. A real-life Barbie Malibu dream house is being listed on Airbnb for a special once-only event in celebration of the fashion doll's 60th anniversary. The Barbie Malibu dream house is listed for a single $60 stay, includes several of the amenities from the smaller plastic version, including a pink Jeep, a hot pink water slide from the balcony to the pool, and a closet filled with Barbie-inspired clothes. Booking will be available October 23rd. Well, that's just next Wednesday, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, for one and up to 3 friends to spend the night. We'll make that 2 nights from October 27th to 29th in the house. The stay includes tributes to Barbie's many careers, including fencing lessons with champion Ibtihaj Muhammad, a guided tour of the Columbia Memorial Space Center from pilot and aerospace engineer Jill Myers, meals and a cooking lesson from Malibu Seaside chef founder Gina Clark Helm, and a makeover from celebrity hairstylist Jen Aitken. An Iowa meat processing business is apologizing to a neighboring family after a shared drainage system caused their basement to flood with animal blood. Oh, how disgusting. The Lestina family of Bagley said they've never had an issue with Dahl's custom meat locker located next door until recently, when their basement filled with blood, fat, and bones from slaughtered animals. Caitlin Dahl, who became co-owner of Dahl's Custom Meat Locker in April, said the slaughterhouse had been following the procedures set out by the previous owner, who operated the facility for more than 10 years. We didn't change a thing from the previous owner, Dahl said. Everything was signed off on and was up to regulation, so we didn't even think there were going to be any issues. She said workers and officials had no idea their waste material flushed from their slaughter room would end up backed up in their neighbor's basement. We're totally taking responsibility for it. It wasn't our fault. We didn't intentionally put the blood down there. We didn't want this to happen. We feel for them. I'd just be mad as they are in their shoes. Dahl said the tile connected to the pipe that is shared with the Listina family has been covered with concrete to prevent future incidents, and the company is planning to help the family with cleanup. Well, I should hope so. We are arguing with our insurance company to try and get them to cover it. Otherwise, we will financially assist the Listinas, she said. The Iowa Department of Natural Resources is investigating the incident and is working with the Dahls to prevent future blood incidents. It was a bloody mess. A bloody, bloody mess. A woman living in a van in San Diego with her pet rats has agreed to give them up. All 300 of them. What kind of van is she driving? Fit 300 rats in there. Authorities found the rats had clawed into the upholstery, burrowed into the seats, and gnawed the engine wiring. Captain Danny Cook says the woman wasn't hoarding the animals. She just started with 2 pet rats, but the rats can give birth every 4 weeks and can produce a dozen in a litter. Cook says the woman acknowledged things had gotten out of control. Authorities collected about 320 rats, and more than 100 are currently ready for adoption. The woman, meanwhile, has found a new place to stay. Good. That's awesome. San Diego Humane Society is looking for homes for 140 rats recently relinquished by their owner. The rats have undergone veterinary exams and tests to make sure they are all healthy, happy, and ready for adoption. The San Diego Humane Society tweeted out. They also followed up by saying, rats make great pets. They are very social, smart, and love to interact with humans. Because rats are social animals, we require rats to be adopted in same-gender pairs unless you already have a resident rat. Starting tomorrow, October 18th, which is today, the adoption fee for a pair is $5. I don't think I'd ever want a rat as a pet. I'm not saying that I have anything against them, just not for me. A North Carolina driver had a close call when a utility pole ended up in the back seat of their car right after they dropped their child off at school. Now, this is scary. The Thomasville Police Department tweeted photos showing the car with a utility pole lodged in the back seat of the window after a Friday morning crash. No injuries, but extremely lucky. Parent had just dropped off the child at school, the department tweeted. It was unclear how the car ended up crashing into the utility pole. Duke Energy said about 241 people were without power Friday while repairs were underway. This is just horrific. Looking at these photos, my goodness, that would have literally that pole would have been right in the child's car seat. Oh, that's scary. Very, very scary. All right, moving on. 5 years ago, a CBS 60 Minutes report publicized a bit of technology trivia many in the defense community were aware of. The fact that 8-inch floppy disks were still being used to store data critical to operating the Air Force's Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Command, Control, and Communications Network. The system, once called the Strategic Air Command Digital Network, relied on IBM Series 1 computers installed by the Air Force at Minuteman II missile sites in the 60s and 70s. Those floppy disks have now been retired. Despite the contention by the Air Force at the time of the 60 Minutes report that the archaic hardware offered a cybersecurity advantage, the service has completed an upgrade to what is now known as Strategic Automated Command and Control Systems. Yeah, called SACS. Yeah, they're having SACS in the Defense Department. Nice pun there, Dave. Well, Sachs is an upgrade for that, swaps the floppy disks for what Lieutenant Colonel Jason Rossi, commander of the Air Force's 595th Strategic Communications Squadron, described as a highly secure solid-state digital storage solution. Say that fast 8 times. Floppy drives were fully retired in June. Oh, my God. Thank God they were retired. How could we not live with them? I wonder if they threw them a party. Those things got to go to a museum somewhere. Hard to believe when you got the Air Force spending like billions upon billions a year that you hear that they're still using floppy disks. That's awesome. That is completely awesome. A woman who was told her suitcase was over the weight limit had a genius way of avoiding paying the excess fee by wearing all of her clothes. Yeah, Jill Rodriguez recently managed to reduce her suitcase from over 19 pounds of clothing to 14 pounds thanks to a number of layers she wore. She posted a picture to her Facebook. Rodriguez posed in her outfit with what appeared to be at least 3 tops, 2 pairs of trousers, and 4 cardigans. Boy, this lady lives an exciting life if she's packing 4 cardigans on holidays. It remains unclear exactly which airline she was traveling with. Her genius technique quickly gained fans, being shared nearly 20,000 times on Facebook. Rodriguez later said that she didn't want to pay the fee because the excess weight was so small. However, she didn't advise other passengers to try the same method. It was really hot, she said. Facebook users were fans of the technique, with many posting laughing emojis. Oh, well, that's acceptance. It's hardly the first time a passenger has resorted to extreme measures to avoid paying extra money. A Thomas Cook passenger avoided the $80 excess fee earlier this year by wearing 4 dresses, 2 pairs of shorts, and a dress around her neck. Many compared her to Joey from Friends after looking much bigger due to the volume of layers. Another man put on 15 tops to avoid paying the $120 baggage fee with EasyJet. If you're a football fan or fan of the Madden video games, you know about the curse. Patrick Mahomes reportedly suffered a dislocated kneecap during the Kansas City Chiefs win over the Denver Broncos on Thursday, appearing to show the one infamous hex that still lingers around the NFL. The dreaded Madden curse has plagued NFL superstars who've been on the cover of the video game for years. And Mahomes, the cover star of this year's installment of the video game franchise, appears to be the latest victim. Mahomes was coming off an NFL MVP season and a 12-4 record as the Chiefs quarterback in 2018, throwing for a league-leading 50 touchdown passes. Mahomes was having a solid season through 6.5 games, leading the NFL with 2,180 yards passing and 15 touchdown passes. It all came into an end, though, on Thursday when it appeared he suffered a devastating knee injury against the Broncos. However, the NFL Network reported that Mahomes suffered a dislocated kneecap and might be able to play through it after 3 weeks of rest. NFL fans blame the jinx for derailing Antonio Brown's career. He was on the cover of Madden 19 for last year's installment of the game. While Brown had a good year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, his rift with teammates led to the organization trading him. He then suffered a frostbite mishap during the offseason, and ironically enough, Madden 19 used a frostbite graphic engine to make you feel like you were in the game every time you picked up the sticks. The engine debuted during Madden 18 with Tom Brady on the cover. The Madden curse has been blamed for the down years and injuries of several superstars, including Rob Gronkowski, who is on the front of the 2017 game, Michael Vick, Sean Alexander, Vince Young. The hex's history can be traced all the way back to 1999 when Barry Sanders was on the cover of Madden 2000, only to abruptly retire. And finally, a New York State man received a shock of his life while driving when a deer crashed through a backseat window and then promptly crashed out the opposite window to get out of the car. Yeah. Roger Johnson, a photographer and a proprietor of Captured Moments Photography in Rome, said he was driving on Route 28 near Forestport when the doe crashed through the backseat of the window of his Kia Optima while he was going about 55 miles an hour. Nobody can believe it. I can hardly believe it myself, he says. I saw the deer coming at me from the driver's side. It started to leap. Next thing I knew, I heard a loud crash. I stopped, and there was glass and fur everywhere in my back seat. No blood, just glass and fur. It went right through both windows. It didn't even touch the car doors. Johnson said he feels fortunate the animal was a doe instead of a buck with large antlers. Fortunately, it didn't come through the driver's side window. It probably would have killed or severely hurt me, he said. Johnson said he ended up spending the rest of the day as planned, photographing nature, including some area deer. He said the windows are repaired and there's really nothing that can be done to the car anymore. There's no damage. It's fixed. Except the crazy memory of a deer crashing through the window of the Kia. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. Who was your favorite wrestler growing up, and why? We had this interesting question because John Edwards, our guest tonight, along with his beautiful wife, Stacey. Well, John's an independent wrestler the last 20-plus years. Yeah, so we figured I'll throw it on here, see what the responses were. Man, there was a lot. Haven't had this many in a long time. Start off with Goddess Michelle. She loves The Undertaker. He was so creepy, and his manager's face, Paul Bearer, was shaped like a cashew. I always like creepy. Oh, Paul Bearer. Oh, The Undertaker. He's going to burn you. Oh, yeah. Gosh, Paul Bearer was good. All right. Foya Boy Mike, my resident troll on Twitter, says, I love The Rock. And he posts a GIF or GIF, whatever the hell they're called, with The Rock saying, just bring it. I bet you Mike actually practices The Rock's eyebrow before he tweets. God of Thunder, otherwise known as Canadian Joe, he loved the Road Warriors. He says there were lots I liked, though the Legion of Doom were definitely at the top of the list. How could you not like them? Those guys were huge. Absolutely huge. How they ever lost the tag team titles, like ever, is still a mystery to me. They're a fantastic tag team. Remember they'd come out, oh, what a rush. And it would be on. Sandra, it's a toss-up between Rowdy Roddy Piper, good Canadian kid, and the Macho Man Randy Savage. Here's a trivia question for you. Who was Randy Savage's brother in the WWE? His real-life brother. See if you can figure that one out. Chris Wolford, Jake the Snake Roberts, because of his King Cobra. Oh, BS, Chris. There's a reason why on Twitter we go all Chrisomania. Chris likes to go nuts on anybody who doesn't support the TTSA. Like, he starts, you know, you remember when Hulk Hogan, when he'd get that boost of energy, he'd start shaking, and, well, that's what Wolford does when people start insulting the TTSA on Facebook or Twitter. He starts going full-on Chrisomania. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Taro, going way back in time, Nick Bockwinkel. Well, you like Larry Zbyszko, too? Holy cow. Chris Zuger, he's a Macho Man Randy Savage fan. Personally, I took him for more of a Barry Horowitz kind of guy. Marla. Or is it Marley? Marlee? Marl? Hulk Hogan. I don't know why. I just liked his energy, and he just cracked me up. Oh, she likes Chrisomania. Kay Stockton. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, because he just knew how to use that 2x4. Craig liked the Macho Man. Michael, The Rock, because he's awesome. Jim Mallard, the Duck. Yep, I grew up a little later than you did, Dave, but this guy is all you ever wanted to be, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Tim loved Rowdy Roddy Piper, same as Sarah. Celeste, she didn't have a choice. Agent J, the Ultimate Warrior, his name says it all, and the outfit was pretty sweet, too. Sage was all about Hulkamania. For AZ Greenbelt, Bruno Sammartino, because he was on TV in Pittsburgh. Lone Wolf loved Hacksaw Jim Duggan because he was just so damn crazy acting in the ring. He was a good wrestler. Apparently he was coked out most of the time. All right, let's go through the rest of them. Matthew, big fan of Bret the Hitman Hart. Alfred is a Hulk Hogan fan, while Mike DeMonte is all about the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Marilyn loved Andre the Giant. Brian Bowden, former guest, he was a big fan of Polish Power, Ivan Putski. Jaretta, Andre the Giant, she got to see him wrestle in 1973 at Madison Square Garden. Victor loved Road Warrior Hawk and the Road Warriors. Ashy, there can only be one, the greatest of them all, the 16-time world champion, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Daryl loved Andre the Giant, Kelly and his beard, Macho Man Randy Savage, Gene Kiniski for Essie, because she says she's that old. Robert loves Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Mike, the Great Mephisto. Oh, that's a good one. Gabe, Hulk Hogan. Steven, Macho Man, same as Mark. Bruno Sammartino again for Tom. Tessie loves Sting, well, because he was just a badass, different, and good at what he did. Jimmy's all about Macho Man. Yeah. Oh, the gift war was on for this one. Ron, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid. Oh, that was a good tag team back then, back in Calgary Stampede. Charles, Bulldog Bob Brown. Nick loved the Hulkamaniacs. Glenn, the Ultimate Warrior. Nick was a Macho Man. And Razor Ramon. Tara loved Coco Beware. Jeff loved Demolition, Strike Force with Tito Santana and Rick Martel. Frank loved the Sheik. Not the original. Well, the original Sheik. David, Brutus the Barber, Beefcake, Gorilla Monsoon. Mike, the Junkyard Dog. And old Davey here, the Iron Sheik. Iran, number one, USA. Love the Iron Sheik. Big thanks to John and Stacey Edwards for coming on the show tonight. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thank you to Captain Shirk for putting an incredible news run together, and all of you for taking part in the Thought of the Dave. Little Richie G and Everett Themer take over Saturday and Sunday night while I'm off having some fun. I'm going to relax this weekend, split more firewood, as we got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for sharing your week with us. We'll continue it on the weekend, because together, my friends, say it with me, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night.